Welcome to Real Estate Analytics 101. My name is Saad, and the topic of this lesson is dashboard development. If you build your charts in Excel, I'd like to introduce two tools that you should know about. These are Power BI and Tableau. Tools such as these are used widely across many industries, and in our work at RentViewer, we've done dozens of implementations of these tools for real estate companies. Let's start with Power BI. This is a product created by Microsoft. Power BI is one of Microsoft's many Office products. If you want to create a presentation, you would use PowerPoint. If you want to write a document, you would use Word. And if you want to create a dashboard to display metrics, Microsoft would like you to use Power BI. I'm going to give you an intro to what it's like to build our collections dashboard using Power BI. In another video, I'll give a similar demo with Tableau. So this is Power BI desktop. As I demo this, you'll notice some similarities to Excel, as well as many new features that Excel simply doesn't have. So this is what the final dashboard will look like. This is the finished collections dashboard that's also available in our catalog. So this white area on the left side is the canvas. And there are several tiles here. There are 3 tiles containing bar charts, and below them is a table. On the right of these is a panel that contains filters or slicers. Now this can all be published to a web page so that you can share this dashboard with your coworkers. So we'll build it here in Power BI desktop and then publish it to the Power BI workspace where your coworkers can log in and view the dashboard that you've built. So further to the right in the gray area is the visualization panel. This is where you can select any visualization to create. For example, line charts, pie charts, gauges, and so on. On the far right is the data panel. So this shows all the tables and fields that are available for building your dashboard. So before you can start building your dashboard elements, the data needs to be imported and modeled. So let's get to work building this from scratch. I'm not going to show you every step to get here. If we were to build the visual parts of this from scratch, it would take about 2 hours. It mostly involves dragging and dropping elements and clicking checkboxes. The goal here is only to give you an intro. So before you build this dashboard, you'll need to prepare the data for the dashboard. So we're going to use an Excel file. You can also connect to a SQL database or even connect directly to an API. So here we're going to use an Excel file. So here's the Excel file that contains the data that I've already exported from the property management system. There are several sheets in this file that I've already prepared. So I have the rent roll, the age receivables. I'll scroll to the right so you can see there are many columns here. And also rows for properties and property groups. Let's fire up Power BI desktop. So this is a blank file. When we save it, it'll have the extension .pbix. So select import data from Excel. So Power BI will read all the sheets in the file. Here I'm going to select only the ones I want. Age receivables, property groups, and summary rent roll. Hit load, and Power BI will pull the data into the PBIX file. Here it is listing all the sheets that are in the Excel file. We don't need all of them, so we'll simply select the ones we want, and Power BI will load them. So these have come into Power BI as tables and are listed over here. On the far right, in the data pane. Now we're ready for the data modeling step. In the data model, instead of creating a join relationship between the rent roll and AR aging, I'm going to union the 2 data sets. That is, both data sets will be appended. So the result of appending will be a new table Now this table contains all the rows from both the data sets. Let's name the appended data set Union, AR, and SR. So let's check the data and make sure that the columns came through. Check the data types. So date columns should be dates. Numeric columns should be number data types. And let's apply the changes. So one more step in data modeling for this dashboard. Note here that the property data needs some extra work. The first row headers did not get recognized, so we'll have to specify that. Close and apply. Now, here's how we create a relationship between two tables in Power BI. So find the columns to join on, drag one over the other, and at the end, the data model looks like this. So this will result in a table inside Power BI that has the columns from both the union table as well as the property groups table. If you were doing this in Excel, the process for creating that table would be very different. You'd have to add a column to the rent roll and the AR aging for property and then write a XLOOKUP or a VLOOKUP formula. So this was a brief introduction to data modeling in Power BI. Now let's build the visual elements of the dashboard. So as you saw previously, the dashboard contains several tiles. We will have to create each one individually. So let's start with the total AR aging on the top left. We select the chart type, which will be the stacked bar chart. So you'll see several sections on the screen. Look at the top menu bar. Many of the icons you see here are the same as the data menu in Excel. In fact, many of the underlying components that Excel uses are also used in Power BI. For example, the data connectors, the formula library, Power Query, and so on. So I've added the x-axis and y-axis elements, arranged the size, and now I'll add my slicers. So here's the date slicer, the date that's displayed on the x-axis. So Power BI allows you to format how data is displayed in the slicers. Short dates are more readable than long dates, so let's change the format. So you'll follow this process for each tile, and your dashboard will eventually look like this. So let's test the slicers, make sure they work for all the charts. So now you know what Power BI is and have some idea of what the user interface looks like and what the experience for the dashboard developer is. If you're comfortable with Excel, you'll easily learn Power BI. There are lots of training programs available, and you can create a plain, simple dashboard after only a couple hours of training. To be able to transition some of your more complex charts from Excel to Power BI, you'll need to invest more time in learning Power BI. I'd say that if you spend about 25 to 50% of your time for about 3 or 4 weeks using Power BI, you'll be able to handle a vast majority of your assignments for building at least the visual aspects. The difficult part in these projects is data modeling, and that requires a lot of practice and trial and error. So data modeling is important because before you can start building the visual parts, you want to make sure that the right columns and rows are there to point to. So in the next video, I'll show you how to build the same collections dashboard using Tableau. Tableau is owned by Salesforce. It's in the same category as Power BI, but it's a lot more powerful than Power BI because it allows you to do ad hoc data analysis and data exploration. There are some demo videos on our website that actually show you how we do ad hoc data analysis on the rent roll or the market rent data that you can see. And that'll give you an idea what Tableau can do. So I'll wrap up here. This was the first part of lesson 2.2 on dashboard development with Power BI. The next video will be dashboard development with Tableau. Please get in touch with me if you have any questions. I invite you to follow RentViewer on LinkedIn, and please spread the word about the Real Estate Analytics 101 course. Thank you.